Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well. Today I had an idea initially to come on here and talk about Mbappe. We've all heard Mbappe, about what's happened and the fact that he wants to leave in January, and I know PSG are denying this, and there's, the club president and a couple of his players, his teammates and whatnot. Well, finally I said his players. He's basically got a board position at PSG. Technically they are his players, but anyway, his teammates, they've all come out and everyone's gone, no, we don't know what you're talking about. When you got every single reliable journalist on the planet going, no, he wants to leave in January, I thought I'd come here and talk about that. But since that point, we've had loads of Chelsea news come out today, and I'm like, no, that takes priority, especially to all of you. So we're going to get into it because we've got latest director news, and we've got an update on Reece James. So let's start off with this director situation, as my seat pulled into my table and made an unfortunate noise. That was not me. Anyway, gotta love live bloopers. Let's get into this. I've got a few things lined up for you, starting off with Jacob Steinberg. Now, we know that Christopher Vivel is going to become the new technical director, right? I really want you to understand the names that I'm going to throw at you today. Names of the job titles, the positions, right? Not the people, the positions, okay? That's one. Technical director, Christopher Vivel, is going to be coming in very, very soon, okay? We know that's happening, so cool. We'll wait for the official announcement. But now we've got news on, well, we've been waiting for a sporting director. Apparently there's more. There's more. Let's get right into it, starting off with Jacob Steinberg. He says this: Chelsea close to appointing Southampton's Joe Shields as head of recruitment. Stuart Webber mentioned as a possibility for sporting director. Also an update on Reece James's knee injury not looking serious. And that is being co-written with Fabrizio Romano. And Fabrizio, who goes on his Twitter to say exclusive, Chelsea are closing in on the agreement with Southampton to appoint Joe Shields as new director of recruitment. Huge statement by club owners, as Shields is highly rated after his top work with Southampton and Man City, discovering many talents. This overall seems like a very, very good appointment, and one that's come very silently. No one really heard anything about this. Only earlier today, we heard about Stuart Webber. Now, Stuart Webber currently at Norwich, right? And that was, well, funnily enough, The Sun were the first ones to mention this, and we don't normally rate The Sun, but the guy who wrote it, I don't know the name, I've got to look that up, but credit to him, because he came out and I initially read it and I was like, nah, can't be, surely not, especially while we were looking at other options just yesterday. All of a sudden this from Norwich has come out of left field, but then it's been confirmed by The Athletic, it's been confirmed by other people, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that is a possibility then. But this, very, very out of left field, out of the blue. Joe Shields, very, very good work at Manchester City, done very good things there, and also at Manchester City and Southampton. Southampton are a club renowned for how well they've recruited. Manchester City, especially with their recruitment going into the latter years, very, very good as well. Joe Shields has done fantastic work overall. So him coming into Stamford Bridge would probably be a very, very good thing for us. But it doesn't just end there. This is where there's a bit of confusion, because I know there's a lot of people that are hearing this tonight and going, oh, okay, so Joe Shields, director of football. No. No. We're getting a technical director, Christopher Vivel. Joe Shields is going to be coming in as director of recruitment. Some would say head of recruitment, but you can also say director of recruitment. Then we're going to be having this is where I get confused, because initially I thought there was going to be one sporting director. Now I'm going to show you some other information and you're going to get as confused as I am, right? I don't know how many roles Todd Bowley is splitting this into here, but it's a very good talking point. So without further ado, let's get into what Ben Jacobs has to say, and then we'll dive into more. So this is Ben Jacobs saying, as per Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are closing in on Joe Shields as director of recruitment. Deal not done yet, and it is very likely he'll have to serve notice or be put on gardening leave. Shields only joined the Saints in July. If we just stop it right there, that is quite deep. He joined Southampton from Manchester City, July. It's October. All of a sudden, he's leaving. It doesn't look great. from his perspective to Southampton, they're probably thinking, are you serious, mate? You know, we got you in July. You're leaving already? Bit of a sticky situation. But anyway, we'll keep reading. And told by multiple sources that Shields is keen to work in more of a model-led and resource-heavy hierarchy. It's been a tough transition for him from academy to senior recruitment, and that's why CFC's pitch and other planned hires is of appeal compared to staying at Southampton. Southampton had a pretty proactive window. There were a clear strategy and focus on youth. Shields played a big part in this, but from what I am told, behind the scenes, it wasn't an easy job for him to walk into. Chelsea hoped to take advantage of that. Important to also note at this stage, Chelsea have approached Shields, but they must still agree a departure with Southampton, and that would almost certainly prevent him from being in place for January, of course, and that's no surprise, especially if he has to serve some sort of notice of leave or whatever it is. That makes complete sense. But it's actually quite crazy how he leaves in July and all of a sudden, well, how he leaves to Southampton in July and all of a sudden on October he's like, yo, I'm going to Chelsea, bye. In terms of his work, there was a little line there from Ben Jacobs talking about transition from academy to senior. So what is Joe Shields' role going to be at Chelsea? Is it going to be more senior-led in terms of the first team and players and looking and all that? Or is it going to be more academy to first team led in terms of the talents that are coming through the academy, some of the young talents that are, you know, everywhere else that we can scout to try and bring to our academy to look into the first team, or some of the young players that we can look at to try and put into the first team squad? Well, you know, like a Chukwuemeka, for example, a Hutchinson who's gone into our academy but is going to be coming into the first team squad at some point because he's very talented. Those sort of players perhaps. Or is Joe Shields going to be there responsible or part responsible for going after some of the top talents in the world? Loads of questions. But this is where I get confused. And I'm going to share my confusion with you now. Right? Let's check this out. This is from Tom Roddy saying, Chelsea looking to hire from Major League Baseball for head of football operations role as they close in on Southampton's Joe Shields as director of recruitment. This is where I'm baffled. I'm fully confused now. Okay, so let me get this straight. We've got a technical director, Christopher Vivel. Cool. Okay. Then we've got Joe Shields, director of recruitment. Okay. And then you'd think, okay, maybe we can fit a sporting director. We've been looking for sporting directors. Michael Edwards, the guys from Leipzig, the guys from Salzburg, the guys from the whole Red Bull group, some other lads from Germany. We're looking all across the place to try and get a sporting director, right? Or director of football. Director of football. Yeah? Those are the sort of right places to look, if I'm being completely real. But then all of a sudden we hear Chelsea looking to hire from Major League Baseball for head of football operations. Head of football operations is what I initially thought Christopher Vivel was going to come in for as technical director. Have I lost something here? Or what the sporting director is going to come in and that's going to be part of his portfolio as well, part of his profile. So are we splitting the sporting director role into two? Are we going to have 4 directors? This is where I have to ask questions here. I would like an answer. I would like an answer. We're going to be looking into the Major League Baseball to try and get someone to be head of football operations. That doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't quite make sense to try and get someone who has worked in a complete different sport to try and run the football operations of Chelsea Football Club. That fills me with a little bit of unease, right? Because if we were to hire that person, okay, that means we're still getting a sporting director, right? Or director of football. Am I right? Because if we're not, and we're going to have to rely on someone who's worked at the MLB to run the football side of things at Chelsea, I think we're going a little bit bonkers on that one. Everything else makes sense. Director of recruitment, cool, okay. Technical director, cool, okay. We only need a director of football to go alongside that, and we're good. As far as I'm concerned, we're good. And then we've got a director on top of all of them, Todd Bowley, and the lads who run the club, right? It makes complete sense. That's a good structure. But to get a head of football operations and then to have a director or sporting or football, I'm bit confused there. Because then what's the technical director's job? You know, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I understand if we want to get a director of recruitment, makes complete sense. Your job is solely focused on recruitment. Cool. We kind of need someone there. Someone that's going to run the scouting department and to make sure they're doing their jobs correctly. That is something we've complained about for quite some time. But this whole head of football operations, director of football, sporting director malarkey that's going on, I'm baffled. I'm baffled. Some clarity on that would be great. Because we also have to remember, if we are going to have a technical director, a director of recruitment, a head of football operations, and a director of football or sporting director, that's too many cooks in the kitchen. As far as I'm concerned, that's too many. And don't forget, we've also got Kai McCauley, who came with Graham Potter in terms of the recruitment side, to who they kind of have to work with and make sure that they have a good relationship. So there's too many cooks in the kitchen for me. If I'm being completely real, I think the 3 is better than the 4. That's my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts on that. How do you understand this situation? I'd love to hear it down below. Let me know. Much appreciated. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days, into tomorrow and next week and whatnot, and we'll see what happens. Now, Reece James, what's the latest? Matt Law tells us here. Reece James is not set for a lengthy spell out as first feared, and this is fantastic news. Fantastic news. There isn't a specific timeline just yet, but it is seen that the first assessment that he has received shows there isn't anything serious. It's okay. So after that, we'll see. We've got Manchester United, not this weekend, but the one after. I would love Reece to be available for that. If he's available for that, fantastic, you know, because then it means we have to play Aston Villa next. We've got Brentford midweek, then we've got Man United. If he's back for Man United, cool as a cucumber, because Reece needs to play against Man United. We've got a score to settle there. So anyway, that's the latest. Let me know down below how you assess this entire situation. Are you happy? Are you not? As I've said, like for me, Christopher Vivell, happy. Joe Shields coming in, happy. Absolutely. And then if we get a director of football, cool. Looking into baseball to get a head of football operations is where I get a little bit what? You know? But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below and let me know on Reece James, your opinions on that too. When do you think he'll be back? Much appreciated. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash like button if you have enjoyed this. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new one, people. See you then. Have a good one. Take care and peace.